The Happy Family. There was a butterbur leaf in a country of the south. A lot of butterbur trees with big leaves looked very nice. A snail was living on the back of a butterbur leaf. The snail ate the butterbur leaves and lived peacefully, moving from one leaf or stem to another. Two snails were living on the back of the butterbur leaves. These two had never been out of the butterbur wood, but they knew that there was a different world out of the forest. Birds always felt impatient when they saw the snails.
Hey, why are you that lazy? Try to walk faster.
When the birds complained, one snail said, "That's because we are not in a hurry."
Why don't you just stop crawling around here and go some other places?
We have a roof, and it's full of food here.
If you like staying here that much, do as you want.
The short-tempered bird flew away to the sky, but the snails did not envy the bird that could fly everywhere freely. "Even she has wings. She has no house. It must be very uncomfortable."
If it rains or something scary comes up, how can she hide her head and legs?
The two snails felt pity for the bird. They were just lonely because they were only two. One day, they found a little snail crying on the back of a butterbur leaf. "What a pity! What happened?"
Hey, little snail, where are you from?
The two snails asked the crying little snail. The little snail cried and said he was searching for his dad, Mom, and his brothers for a few days. "Oh dear, stop crying. I will be your dad."
And I will be your mom. Come on.
The two snails took him to a big special butterbur leaf where they were always living. A few days later, the little young snail ate delicious food and recovered slowly. Even his mom and dad were surprised that the baby snail could crawl very quickly and play far away from the leaf.
Sweetheart, you don't need to crawl very fast. Always walk slowly.
She showed him slow crawling. When it rained, funny sounds came from the splashing raindrops on the butterbur leaf. "Do you like it? It sounds like a drum, doesn't it?" The husband snail was proud of himself, as if he made the sound. "Wow, it's funny." The baby snail was very happy. The baby snail is old enough to marry now. His mom and dad searched for his bride, crawling from one butterbur leaf to another. A ladybug heard it and visited them.
I know a great one.
Mom and dad snails were happy to hear that and asked,
Does she have a house?
It's not a house. It's her own wonderful castle with 700 hallways. She is the queen ant.
The ladybug told them proudly.
Thank you for your kindness, but our baby will be eaten by ants if he marries the queen ant.
The mom snail rejected the ladybug's kindness. After a while, a fly told them there was a young woman snail right next to her. The snail family decided the woman snail would be the baby snail's bride. The night of the wedding, 6 fireflies shone beautiful bluish light on the ceremony. The snail family lived together happily and peacefully ever after.
Last dream for an old oak tree. Once upon a time, there was a large oak tree in the forest. This oak tree was very old. One day, during the hot summer, a mayfly flew by and alighted on a leaf of the oak tree.
Mayfly, you must be so sad.
Why?
You get to live only one day.
The oak tree felt sorry for the mayfly. Mayfly asked, "Don't you live for one day?"
No, I live much longer than you do.
The mayfly nodded and asked, "Really? Then are you happy now?"
Yes, I am very happy.
replied the oak tree. Then the mayfly smiled and said, "I am very happy too. Although I get to live only one day, it doesn't matter. You get to live much longer than I do. But we are both happy, aren't we?" The oak tree and the mayfly kept on talking to each other. Eventually, the mayfly leaned on the oak tree and fell asleep.
Mayfly,
The oak tree called the mayfly, but the mayfly did not respond. It had died.
Mayfly, have a happy dream.
The oak tree blessed the mayfly for the last time. Many weeks then passed. Spring, summer, and fall went by, and winter came. Finally, the long-awaited day of Christmas came. The oak tree wanted to rest now. The oak tree had a dream on Christmas Day. In it, pretty flowers were abundant, and butterflies were flying in a green forest. In this dream, the oak tree met the mayfly. The mayfly said, "Come play here. It is such a happy place." The oak tree was very pleased indeed to see the mayfly. While the oak tree was sleeping, its roots were cut. It was time for the oak tree to die. The oak tree went to a happy world, dreaming.
Nightingale. A long time ago, in China, there lived an emperor. The emperor loved to read books. One day, in the book he was reading, it wrote, "The most beautiful precious treasure is the bird nightingale." The emperor had never seen or heard of nightingale. What is nightingale? No one has ever seen or heard of it. The emperor was very curious as to what nightingale was. "Bring nightingale to me at once." The servants were worried by the emperor's command. They looked here and there. One day, a little girl said that she knew of nightingale. She said that the bird she had was nightingale. It was a small, cute bird. At once, nightingale was brought to the emperor. The emperor was very happy. "Ah, is this bird called nightingale?" For the first time in his life, he heard the beautiful voice and was impressed and deeply moved. "Please give me nightingale, and I will reward you handsomely." So nightingale came to live in the palace. Every day, nightingale sang for the emperor. Emperor was happy every time he heard nightingale sing. He was so proud of nightingale that he allowed the servants to hear it too. However, nightingale was not happy. Nightingale felt trapped and had no freedom. One day, the neighboring country sent a gift to the emperor. It was a nightingale doll made of jewels and gold. Every time the doll was wound up, it sang beautifully. Furthermore, the emperor, if wanted, could hear it every day. It's really amazing. Its beauty is the finest in the world. The real nightingale was sad. The real nightingale decided to leave. It flew off into the forest of freedom. The nightingale doll kept on singing. One day the doll broke. Nobody was able to fix it. The emperor was heartbroken. The emperor became ill. He just laid there waiting to die. Just then, from the window, a beautiful song came flowing in. Everyone looked. Sitting by the window, Nightingale began singing. Shortly after, the emperor became better. Nightingale was happy. Soon the emperor's face was filled with happiness once again. The Naked King. Long, long time ago, there lived a very fancy king. The king changed his clothes 12 times a day. He really liked to show off to his subjects. My clothes are the best in the world. One day, 2 tailors planned a trick. Why don't we teach that stupid and extravagant king a lesson? He doesn't even worry about his starving people. That's right. He thinks he's the best. The 2 men went to see the king. Oh, the world's most marvelous king! We have brought the most beautiful cloth in the whole world. However, not everyone is able to see the cloth. Those that tell lies and have bad hearts are not able to see this fine cloth. After the king heard those words, he became very interested. Could there really be such a cloth? If I could make clothes out of those cloths, my clothes will be the best in the whole world. Hurry and show me the cloth. The tailors pretended that the cloth was real as they showed it to the king. The king and the fine-spoken subjects could not see anything before them, but none of them could show that they could not see it. The king and his fine-spoken subjects just looked at each other. Then the tailor quickly spoke in an arrogant manner. Well, is there no honest man here? How can you look at this beautiful cloth and not praise it? Among the subjects, one of them made a flattering comment out loud. Wow! This is the first time that I've seen such a wonderful cloth. All the subjects tried to be the first to praise the cloth. Then the king was amazed with the beauty of the cloth too. The king gave the money and ordered them to make his clothes. For several days, the tailors pretended to be making the clothes. The king became worried and told one of his subjects to go and see how the clothes was coming along. The subject could not say how much the clothes had been completed. As hard as he looked, he could not see it. But he could not say that he was unable to see it. Instead, he pretended to be amazed at how beautiful it was coming along. A few days later, the tailors came back with the king's clothes. Here you are, Try on these clothes." The king was not able to honestly say that he could not see the clothes. He, too, pretended to look over it. One man said, "Your Majesty, let's go and show off your finest clothes in the world." The subjects all agreed at the same time. "Yes, that is a good idea." The king walked out to the street very proudly and walked with pride. All the people in the land came out to see the king's new clothes. They were all surprised, though. Just then, a little girl shouted out, "Our king is naked!" Then everyone said, "He's naked! He's naked!" The king now realized the truth. However, with only his undergarments on, he still walked in a dignified manner. Even though he was embarrassed, he could not stop walking. Why not? Because he was the king.